look here, man. This shit crazy. You feel what I'm saying? It, if y'all ever seen spit on I Spit on Your Grave, I Spit on Your Grave is a very crazy movie. Okay, it's wow. It's about a woman who goes out of town. I believe she an aspiring model, and yeah, some like three men for her, and they kidnap her and they rape her for a really long time. And in one of the movies, there's multiple of these movies, and it's vulgar. One of the women would she was actually a groomer. She was the groomer. She would lure the females. You know what I'm saying? That's Ghislaine right here. That's who this woman is. If you new here, make sure you like and comment and share, subscribing. We heavy on the motherfucking sauce this way. Ghislaine Maxwell, accuser. Let's get into it.
Now, she denies all the charges, and Ransom's claims are not part of this case against her. Ransom, who is now 37 years old, was in court for the first day of the trial last week. She settled a civil lawsuit with Maxwell back in 2018. We'll hear directly from her in just a moment. But first, here's a look at some of her story and those very disturbing allegations against Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein.
What does today mean for you all?
Sarah Ransom says she was recruited into Jeffrey Epstein's world when she was 22. In her book, Ransom says she...
How you get recruited at 22, though? Like you was a grown-ass woman. How you get recruited at 22? It's kind of shaky. Let's keep going.
Was approached at a New York City nightclub by a girl about her age who offered to introduce her to Jeffrey Epstein, saying he helps a lot of young girls achieve their dreams. Days later, Ransom went to Epstein's private island in the Caribbean with other young girls, including her recruiter and Ghislaine Maxwell. The abuse, she says, started on that island where Epstein raped her.
I'm here representing civil society.
It was Maxwell, she says, who often called her to Epstein's room. She writes, while Jeffrey was reeling in children by the dozens, Ghislaine was shoring up his social credibility. Epstein, she says, promised to help her get into a prestigious fashion school with a caveat. She had to lose 30 pounds off of her 5'9".
And see, in the movie I Spit on Your Grave, you feel what I'm saying? She wasn't the groom. She was grooming like on some, say you got away. She was a cop. Say you got away. She'll make you feel like, oh, you finna go back. Oh, we finna take you to the people where it's safe. No, motherfucker. We taking you right back to where you just escaped so you can get raped some more. These bitches. Sellouts, on God. Let's keep going. Why would you do that? How, like, what did you gain from that? Like, what do you gain in getting girls raped and you a woman? What do you gain from that? Like, you can't be fucking human. You can't be a woman. These folks not human, bruh. These folks is not human. I'm telling you, these are demons. We ain't never ever seen these people until now. These folks is demons, bruh. I don't know what they did, but they getting these folks the fuck out of here. Feel what I'm saying?
Fine frame. She writes, you'll need to get down to 114 pounds. Instructions, she says, came from Ghislaine Maxwell. Like many of Maxwell and Epstein's accusers, Ransom's trouble started long before she met the pair in 2006.
I had no idea the lines then that I was actually getting into.
Ransom was born and raised in South Africa by a single mother. She was raped for the first time at the age of 11, she says, by her mother's boyfriend. Years before she met Epstein and Maxwell, Ransom says she turned to sex work to stave off homelessness. When she escaped Epstein in 2007, she turned to sex work again, something she deeply regrets.
Tell Sarah hit me up.
And writes in her book, I've made regretful choices in the name of survival and acted at times in breathless desperation. I am not perfect, and that is the point.
uh, it's not sitting right with me. I don't know. Once I hear that, I kind of just let me be quiet. Let's keep going.
Now, we spoke to Sarah Ransom ahead of the release of her book. She told us why she was afraid to speak out for so long. Sarah, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me here.
I know, I can't imagine how you're feeling. We've just looked at a piece about your life. As we sit here today, Ghislaine Maxwell's trial is underway. The Ghislaine that you write about in your book and the Ghislaine that the defense has laid out on the very first day, we're being told that she's being used as a scapegoat, that she was not involved in any of the sex trafficking. What do you think when you hear that?
It makes me sick. I remember very distinctly before, I'd been on Jeffrey Epstein's island for a few days with some other survivors who had been raped, as well as I had been raped. And just before Ghislaine arrived, Jeffrey very, very clearly said to me, "You answer to Ghislaine, you do exactly what she says, and you don't cross her." Bearing in mind, from the first time I'd been on the island, Jeffrey said to me, "I will kill you, I will kill your parents if you ever run, if you ever tell anybody, or if you ever go to the authorities."
That's horrendous, bro. I swear, can somebody please make a movie of this? Please make a movie of this. I sound really sick right now, like I just want to see that shit, but yo, I'm a horror movie fanatic. All I watch is horror movies. You feel what I'm saying? I sit down and watch them for hours on end. So seeing that type of shit, like I like the rush. I like the movie, but I could never indulge in this shit. Like never. Don't get it fucked up. Let's keep going.
Do you ever tell anybody what?
About the rapes and about what he was doing to me. So I was already frightened. I was terrified for my life. So when Jeffrey said to me, "You do not cross her," I knew, you do not cross her. I have so many examples of how Ghislaine not only tortured me and abused me, but other survivors. When Ghislaine had been on the island, I'd been on the island for a few days, and Jeffrey had like this outside patio with seating, and she looked at me and she walked over to me and she said, "Jeffrey wants you." And I completely froze, and she grabbed my arm and marched me into Jeffrey's room where I was then raped. So when she...
As a woman, what do you gain from that? Like, you can't be human. You can't be human. How you do something? How you do that to another woman? How you do that with your man? Like, how you just cool with your man just raping women? Like, come on now, how you cool with that? These motherfuckers not human, folk. They gotta be sex demons out this motherfucker. You gotta be a robot or something. Like, you're not human. You're not gonna convince me.
Is that she had nothing to do and she had no idea. She was a facilitator. She was Jeffrey's right-hand woman. She orchestrated everything.
The thing about your book that fascinates me is your very first line. You said, "I never planned to tell the story. When I fled hell, you call it, I made a pact with myself. No one would hear the details of what happened to me in those grievous 9 months of my life. Not my parents, not my brother. Yet you've written a book because you want us now to know the story." Why?
I feel you're only as sick as your secrets. I was tired of being afraid. I was tired of living in fear. I got to a stage where I needed people to know my story because I don't ever want what happened to me to happen to anybody else. And when I first